Well, it is still the 24th of the 3rd month of 1440, and something written on the 14th of the 2nd month of 1439 is a touch upon Choronzon, Volume 2. From Martinet Press. The editorial foreword speaks in favor of displaying different views, as does my channel. Sharing in an affordable way, an impulse helps them choose. Choronzon is meant to be a grimoire that you will want to use. Real evil is beyond psychology, that the mainstream will lose. Sergei Kramer, DCLXVI. Gives us acrylic 6. The magician, high priestess, empress, emperor, Hierophant, and lovers cast their hex. With temperance, priesthood of the satanic trinity, witnessing of the death of a mystical design, manifesting devil of battle, mothering and brutalizing is lex talionis, law of retaliation. Asha Shedim speaks of a time of dark identity. Hardship shows the limits of each body. Sorcery and insight roles mark the Lilin society. Acting out what we are not brings chaos magic to a T. Some say Satan is a demiurge, referencing an unknown deity. The beings beyond material causality may manifest through suffering or needless difficulty. Some rituals can be changed to fit one's own psychology. Laurent Braun uses the right, both, sides, and out. Bare, full of ornaments, garlands, and the solar lunar is upon the roundabout. Past awareness, facing with shyness, hidden and blurred, come out. Orlog Volksgeist speaks of Teutonic faith beyond blood and soil. The Vanir of Northern Europe and the Asir of Asia were personified for ease and toil. Dyed hair, furs, and all sorts of substances were used in philanthropy. As sort of a demon oil. At the thought of the forbidden, the dark occult path, our Wotan, is not to recoil. The evil that is wrought becomes a zombie's dream, can be upon runes or even foil. A. Moraine thinks about another transformation for one turning 21. She was gone then, and it is not a big deal to miss her sort of fun. Four-sided chords, blood, and incantation made the crone think she won. To perform something, Sooty. A widow deems, denies she's nothing, Sooty. If the ritual works, Dewan Morathi exist as a living, dead thing, leech. Erica Frival shares how nature, churches, the economy and more feeds on the children. Punishment comes from priest and statecraft to secular debauchery again. Rise of the wolf's blood reminds us of continuing world wars that only began. Satanic shrapnel rains down from colonial Europe upon the Americas that will be supplanted by the new age and the vampiric Spider-Man of sixfold, but four-part freedom of sin. Shadow uses the words of Prince Nicholas de Very to speak against the likes of E.A. Coetting and Baron de Prince. The fiery force Mayaka of Odun, our friend Ginen instead of Sebe Demen, and the work of charlatans shall be mentioned from henceforth. A person is approached. Instead of buying secrets for which he imploreth, the impulses, thoughts, and sensations are how they connected to the Exu, and Pamba Gira, and the personal Metet among the Job and Lua. Secret societies. Loa. Secret societies and hints from fiction will never be the full view of what is brought from below or above. Part 4 of Aubrey Wood, Vast Nights, Lara's Torment, brings us back to Max and his dealer. The change of the satisfaction of possession is not always what one hopes, but it is a revealer. Intoxicated and in bad company, conditions are laid down by the dealer. Curiosity is like a poison in the belly of an idol, and sanity's peeler. In the 7th part, the sexuality of the cult goddess consumes him as the spirits connect thoughts of her to it, but the result may leave Max the victim of a killer. Well, my stomach's rolling. My stomach has been rumbling. The 3rd chakra. You know, because the chakras just places in you got places in your head and your body that you've focused vibrations and awareness and all sorts of other stuff on. But anyways, that's not really what we're talking about here. Raffenson's gallery starts with the solar wind circling the sand castle of Shaitan as the chariot towards the averse star. 12 or so skulls keeps the death of Nithra on par. Nemeku sees the bat fly above the liquid flowing down the peak on the star. To continue with this flowing, see more of his Hoth Solar. Matthew Whiteman reminds us that hate is the law, hate within reason. The will to power and the will to death can both give to submission. There is more. There is more than Hebraic influence to religion. Order and love finds its place in a season. Acceptance by aversion is often the secret behind hardcore opposition. The beginning, the end, and in between should be considered as you take things all the way in your decision. Ray's Books' Aberrations of a Dragon speaks of our shadow catching up to us and sleeping alone in bed. What I realize is waning in power, but I plan to but I plan to be cloaked in red. What is dead and gone doesn't have to bring regret, but something else instead. Don't let yourself fall into past error for the comfort it bred. Remember of the nothing that its effort fed. Memories and connection bring a new path, we said. The effort, the journey, and all goes beyond each head. Reacting to demons and hardship, do you accept or dread? Somnus Dreadwood tries to bring out Zazazel. Tries to bring out Zazazel. Nahrolais and Vrohone. Zazel, Nahrlis, and Rohoni. Ritual devices are not a foreign thing to me. I just do not deem prayer boxes and such to be I just do not deem prayer boxes and such to be necessary. Become a living corpse is the leech way that sacrifices innocency into the Caractian sinkhole. Caractian sinkhole. Carnobog meets the bloody and psychic rites with a seat towards the eternal grave. The death and necromantic nature blasphemes God's religion in each Maggiron. Cabal knave. I figure I pronounced it right one of those times. Is the continually active strongest and the passive weak? This attempt to be free from religion's slavery is not for the meek. Is direct training and initiation for dark liberation what you seek? With exus and pambagiras, that does not conclude one's week. Don't delude yourself to think you can. Don't delude yourself to think you can. Fissures of desire. Can you get past that later? Danilo Capini closes his message on Brazilian Quimbanda with pictures upon fire and air and earth and water. Ashtaroth Cognatus speaks of one of the most common beastly forms of what is worshipped as a deity. Narsimhadeva is seen to manifest as half man, half lion, to be a vampire upon the demon Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu. So it is treated as a deity for those who welcome the dark fire that removes obstacles to their devotional service. The flame expands, and the feeding is returned as all becomes part of that consciousness. As all becomes part of that consciousness. Yeshaya focuses on the 43.7 Ha Nekra, the linked. Brought, created. Yatsira, formed. Ashit, made, realms. But Reverend A. Ra'ah speaks of the fire and energy and the wasted of God. Ashia are what can be deemed as the fire-being realm. The transformation of VLF Laboratories Q309. Ayin Miyesh introduction focuses on the Klepoth version of the Devil Tarot Trump. To desire an absence of space, matter, and time is often a pursuit of frustration. Is there something beyond the karmic reality we can use for an interruption? I waited too long to use this. Crude as a thought, sees survival as grace, and the 6 or so fold horned reptilian crown is above the face, but sex can be evil and a disgrace. Wanting a taste, the one-eyed, monstrous face leaves society to fight the Karubim following master. With the fiery, ever-turning sword at the end of the garden, threaten and surrender when the time comes to have faith for here onwards. They thrive on their tears in their magic for Satan and various wraiths. The Saturnal monsters come down in flames as the thorns and horns take over, finally after years. The Black Devils 333 Facebook group declares Al-Quran 101:9 before their black flag, saying, Jeshush Shayatina Ma Nufus Il Mutlaqin. The legion of devils with absolute souls. Jalla Hurry, O quarantine filth eating animal, or hurry, O filth eating animals. And what else in the pursuit of death, possession, and what they deem as fine, darkness and the void of hell becomes their hopes in the communion with Shayatin Minal Jinn. I got auto-corrected? Okay. Dark worship becomes them as the beast within speaks from beyond the mire. Azazil and Tawagit meet them at the Black City after they become fire. Muawiyah Narun Hamia. That's the next verse, right? Kawat Likku is the expression of a dysfunctional VLF Laboratories fan. Through the means of the body, the other side does what they can. Curl and cover. Crawl, straddle, on the right side, on the back, feet down, and kneeling we reflect on what has came before without, and need for piddle-paddle. The New Age, Afro-Caribbeans, Kabbalah, Christianity, Gnosticism, Romans, Greeks, North Africans and Hindus all had saturnal aspects to their cults, according to Ying Chao. Kronos, Zuhal, Moloch, Shaneshchara, Baal, Azazal, Baron, Semedi, and other masks are beings of the dark, cold, dry time beyond, shoulder, distant, and afterlife are here now. The cosmic order can at any time be brought low, but how? Through a secret grave, through a secret gate near Saturn, one passes past the planetary spheres and takes a bow. Sarah Reck jokes about how the Enochian demon of the abyss Sarah Reck jokes about the Enochian demon of the abyss. Hashtag a sign below 7 dots and above 9 that some will miss. Saibai and the role of Choronzon resonates just fine. Start and end cover. Joel Hrathenson is a darkening and a gray area of our descent. The lunar sight of the black sun can guide another kind of ascent. So the Hindu Saturn, Shaneshchara, and the black flag saying Jeshush Yatina Manufus il Mutlakin. Jalala and so maybe I should have done all this more awake, but every such book like this, I do intend to get up a video or two sharing some of my thoughts concerning it and my response to it. But obviously, to form your own, you're going to have to get your own book of whatever thing I talk about. There are some really old books that I will talk about from time to time and that sort of thing, but